Hello everybody, I'm finally getting out the footage from the MCC ProAm Kartoween. This was at the end of October 2023. I'm racing in the LO206 Masters class. We had a pretty big field this day. There was about, I think, around 25 entrants in this class. Unfortunately, the weather did not turn out to be very, hospitable for racing this day. Watching the weather forecast leading up to the race, it looked like it might rain a little bit in the beginning of the day and then clear up and be dry for the rest of the day. And as you'll see, that is not the way the day played out. So we're going out for practice right now. This is actually footage from one of my buddies, GoPros, who is a little bit behind me. I am 1, 2, 3 carts up in the 67 with the white helmet. And I think I've got the orange 67 on the back of me. But we're going out. This is in the morning. I don't remember exactly what time it was. Probably like in the 9:30 range. And it was a little bit chilly. It wasn't super cold, but we're all wearing jackets. And as you can see, as soon as we pulled out for practice, it started to drizzle. Now, it had already rained earlier, and the track was fairly dry when we were just starting to go out. But with it being, a little bit chilly, and these being, we're racing on MG Reds, they aren't the grippiest of tires when it's chilly out. So everybody, for the most part, is just baby footing it around here. We're just, not stomping on the gas too hard and, trying not to wipe out. You'll see people's back ends cutting loose on them here or there. You might even see somebody take a little trip around. But, again, this was the practice, so this didn't count for much. We weren't qualifying yet. This was the first time out for the day. And the format for the day was going to be, qualifying, one pre-final, and then a final. And at MCC, they also, you race in the rain. They don't slow things down. So I had never, at this point in time, ever raced with rain tires on in the rain. And, I was kind of hoping to get through the day without having to do that. But, the more I drove around, the more it looked like that was not going to be a possibility. Because right now, there is no way in the world you can really... if you really push, like right there, that guy went right around, and he really wasn't doing much, but just barely getting on the gas coming out of that corner. And Tom is caught up with me, and another guy goes around, and I'm seeing all this, and I'm just like, okay, this is a total waste of time right now. This isn't gonna translate into anything beneficial when it comes to race time, other than knowing that it's super duper slick out. I was gonna let Tom go by, but he opted not to. And at this point in time, I do have brakes. A little later in the video, there's going to come a time where I do not have any brakes, and it's rather startling to me when it happens. But I'm coming down through here. We're just going to baby it. I'm going to baby it around, and I might go around for one more lap, but Tom's about to pull in. And we're going to just cut right through. Once he pulls in, it's going to cut right through our pre-final. I skipped qualifying. I kind of didn't really, I wasn't paying much attention, and I kind of missed it. I was like, whoops, well, I missed the qualifying. I wasn't too worried about it because I really didn't want to go out in the rain, and it was raining at the time of qualifying. Looking back on it and into the future, I will probably go out in the rain to qualify. For me, it really wasn't that big of a deal. All I did was change tires. I didn't do anything. Okay, my son just started me, and we're taking off, and we're heading out for the pre-final. So I do have rain tires on. I've got my little shroud to cover my air cleaner to keep, to try to minimize the water going into my motor. And the rain isn't actually coming down right now at this part, but there are puddles all over the place because it rained. This is probably maybe 3 hours later than the previous video. So we just pulled out. That was just to show, us pulling out. But we're getting ready to form up and come down for the start. I am realizing at this point in time that I don't have any brakes. Once I got water on my rotors, I guess I had my brakes set up at the end of the travel because it was good enough to stop and slow down pretty well in the dry. As soon as I threw some water on there, I wasn't getting any brakes. So I almost ran into people in front of me, and I'm having to kind of creep up behind everybody so they don't come blazing in. But I don't have any brakes. I stomp on them as hard as I can, and I don't slow down at all. The only way to slow down is take my foot off the gas. But I'm kind of stuck. I'm out there, so I'm going to go for it. I actually get a pretty good takeoff right here, and for some reason they throw the yellow flag on this. So I would have been pretty decent right now because I rolled up in front of a couple people that had started in front of me. I think I was starting in the vicinity of like 12th, well, probably 13th because I was on the inside. But and that's with a field of about 25 carts. So they called the, they waved it off. Tom actually didn't see it. There's the but there's the yellow light blinking right there. He gives me a little bump. So I'm going to shoot back around to the next lap where we're forming up for the race, and you're going to see me start to fiddle around with my brake cable. Again, I thought maybe my brakes would come in after they warmed up a little bit in the water, but I still didn't have any brakes. And again, if you've ever driven a cart with no brakes and in the water, it's not the most confident feeling to be driving around that way. And I'm trying to shorten up my cable, but I can't find the stupid thing to turn down there. So I just give up on it. I'm like, oh well, I'm going to have to deal with it. So I'm not going to go barreling super hard into this turn because if I have to get on the brakes, there's not going to be anything there. So I just have to kind of, hit it a little bit conservatively. I don't really lose any positions. I think I'm starting neck and neck with the person who was going to be next to me anyways. And I get going, as you can see. I'm talking as if you know who I am. I'm the guy in the 67 still, and 2 carts in front of Tom. Tom's doing all right. He does have his brakes, and this is his first race ever in the rain, I believe, also. He may have done another one, but I don't think he had. So we're both testing out rain tires right now. So these, this is my first lap under gas in the rain, and I'm realizing my cart is actually sticking pretty good to the track. The back end hasn't really kicked out on me at all. I've been able to roll these corners and get off the gas. But right now I see people kind of catching up to me. I'm like, I got to get through here. So I stomp on it. I know that I've got a decent amount of straightaway. And if I let off the gas soon enough, I'm pretty sure that my cart was sticking good enough to roll this corner down here in the dip right there, which it did, no issues. And so I'm starting to move away from Tom a little bit. He's got carts in front of him, so he's going to be he's not going to be able to stay quite with me. But as the race wore on, I was able to, move up a little bit. I think I started 12th and I got up to 8th. But you see both those people right there. I did not have that issue for some reason. My cart stuck well the way I had it set up. And I'll be honest, you hear people talk about their rain setup. All I did for rain setup was put on rain tires. My cart stayed exactly the same way that it would be if I was not running rain tires. And it seemed to stay planted. I didn't even mess with my gears. I left my gears, set up for dry conditions. I didn't change my ratio at all. I mean, it was slick out, so I figured I probably wanted to. For me, in my mind, if I turn down the torque a little bit, I'm not going to get spin coming out of corners, and it'll hopefully smooth me out a little bit in the wet. But we're going to watch a couple of Tom's passes here just so we can see some of the other people out there on the track. There was some, I think some of these folks have been out there before. I did almost the whole season, but not everybody that was racing I had seen before. So, you're getting a little YouTube action right now. Get yourself warmed up for Kart Chaser in the 2024 season, because Kart Chaser is going to televise or broadcast all these on YouTube or on their channel in the 2024 season. So all MCC ProAm karting races are going to be broadcast live as they happen. I think you have to have the subscription service to see them live. Maybe they'll put them up on their channel a few days after the fact. But that still would be pretty cool to have coverage at my local series. But Tom's still out there. He just passed somebody a little bit ago. Now he's trying to catch up with, I believe, the 99 up there. 46 comes popping through. I feel like he may have gone off track and then gotten back on track and is now busting back through the crowd, because he seems to be moving at a pretty good clip. And a decent amount of these folks, we had a pretty, well, I don't know, I'd say about maybe 4 or 5 guys came over from Newcastle, and they always race in the rain over there, so I know a lot of Newcastle guys are pretty adept and pretty used to racing in the rain. So I think he might have been one of them. I forget what his number was. I think Zianello is the last name. But he came cooking on by. So then Tom gets by the 99 right there, but also one of the carts we saw spun out a little bit earlier. I think it's by him right about now, the number 80. Yep. I believe that's my buddy Daryl right there. He had a pretty good day, but we'll talk about that in the next video. So I do have video from the final. The final, it does dry out a bit. We go back on the slicks. So that'll come up pretty soon. I ended up finishing this heat in 8th. I think Tom finished it in 12th. And again, we had for the day 25 people. So I was actually starting relatively decent in the final, and I was kind of bummed because if I'd had brakes, I think I could have even gone a little further up than 8, because I was really having to drive somewhat tentatively around the corners, and I really, you can always go a little faster when you can brake into a corner instead of having to lift off and roll it from, way far away. So anyways, this is the last lap right here. There won't be any more passing. As you can see, the rain does good things to your GoPro lens. Blocks it up pretty good, but hey, the GoPro stayed functioning, and all the stabilization seemed to work. No issues with the GoPro. So stay tuned. The final will be coming up, probably not this exact same day, but I'll have it out in a couple of days. And again, thanks for being patient, and enjoy the video.